All right, now working through Lab 1, we've already started with all of the previous SQL queries up to question number 6. So now we're on question number 7. So what I want you to do is go ahead and copy this SQL query into your SQL query dialog for the Blue Ridge University database. And what we're looking to answer is, what are the top 10 highest achieving students based on their GPA? So since this is simply a matter of copying and typing it in, I went ahead and started and put this into my query statement. All right, and I'm going to execute it right now. All right, so let's kind of explain what's going on with this particular statement. So let's start with the whole idea about what we're doing with our SQL functions. So select is pretty common to us. We kind of understand that quite well. But the top 10 is actually code that allows us to select the top 10 entries of our data. Now, the next thing that we see in the second line here is that we're going to be extracting the student name from a table that we're going to give an alias of S. Also, we're going to extract the numeric grade of the student, which we're going to extract from a table with the alias of G. And we're going to cast this as a decimal. That's what the cast option does for us. And we're going to give this an alias as GPA. Okay, this is very similar to the first line of our previous SQL query. All right, once again, we're going to connect the fact table with the student table this time. And notice that the alias S is consistent over here. The alias G is consistent over here. Now we have to identify the foreign key and primary key. So in the grades table, it's going to be student ID. And in the student table, it's going to be student ID. We're going to go ahead and group everything by the student name. And we're going to order by the GPA. And notice GPA is the same here as it is up here. And once again, we're going to order this from largest to smallest. Execute. And now I have an error. All right, let me see what my error is. I think it is something as simple as that. There we go. Now, this is only the top 10 students that comes out of our database. And if you compare this to some of our previous analysis, we can see that the number, this is obviously different than those that had attended class. And we know that we have more than 10 students in this particular database. So this select top 10 is really only giving us the top 10 students based on their GPA out of our database. All right, let's go to the next question. So the next question is, what is the most difficult course? That with the lowest average GPA. So I've given you some information here. So simply we should be able to fill in the blanks with all of this information. So we already know how the top 10 works. Okay. So now we want to be able to think about what we're looking to grab. Well, we already know that we're going to be using the fact grades table. So we know that the fact table is going to be here with the alias G. Now, where are we going to get the courses? Well, we're going to get it from the course table, of course. So we'll have C as our course table. So now we need to link both of those keys. And we're going to group this by the course name. And then we're going to order by the GPA. This time, we should actually order this ascending to figure out what the lowest average GPA is going to be. So this part is going to change. All right. So let's give it a shot. So I want to make some changes here. So instead of selecting top 10 from the student name, I mentioned that we're going to go to the course dimension table. So that happens to be the dimension and course section. We're going to leave everything as before. And this time we're going to join this on the dim course section, and we're going to use the alias C. And the connection is going to be from the section ID of the grade table to C dot section ID of the dim course section. We're going to group by C dot course name order by GPA ascending. Now I realize I just made a mistake. Right here, this group by should actually match one of the fields that I have up here. And this C dim course section is completely wrong. So I hope you picked up on that. We're going to hit Control Copy. This is supposed to be course name. All right. Let's go ahead and run this. And here we go. So the lowest GPAs from smallest to highest of the 10 classes that are considered to be most difficult are listed here below. All right. So this is the appropriate answer for question number 8. All right. So looking back at what is required for this lab, you need to go back and snip and paste the results from each of the SQL queries into a Word document and submit that Word document to As You Learn. So you'll have to make sure that you save everything as last name, first name, Blue Ridge University, and put it into its appropriate Dropbox location in As You Learn. All right. If you have any questions about this lab or any other issues dealing with your technology, feel free to reach out to me. And this is the last video for this lab. Thank you.